My name is Jason Ferron, and I drive the 1990 R31 Skyline station wagon, repping the Barra, called the Barra Wag. This is my first year competing in D1NZ Pro. Last year I competed in High Tech Oil's Drift Championship in Australia. I managed a second place, so we figured, what can we do next? Send it on a boat over to New Zealand, see what we can do with the boys over here. So outside of drifting, pretty much there's not really an outside of drifting because my whole life really revolves around the sport and keep a Reet and just pushing those Reet vibes. But apart from that, I've also got 3 little boys under 4 years old with my lovely wife Daniela. We raise them together. So I guess that's a full-time job in itself on the side. But yeah, definitely busy with the drift life. So my passion for drifting began, I reckon, before I even got into cars. I was into BMX and all that sort of stuff. So I think a lot of people were into BMX and they love that adrenaline rush. What can you do on a bike? Show up in front of your friends. And from there, as soon as I got my license, I had nothing to do with doing burnouts or anything like that. Didn't really have any friends that are into that. But once I got the license, I was like, how can we get that adrenaline rush out of a car? So started with little skids, stuff like that on the street. And that was all a bit of fun. And then as soon as I jumped in like a competitive drift car, I was like, that's it, let's head to the track. And that's where the love really kicked off, I reckon. So taking it to the track and competing started with, well, firstly from the street, getting lots of fines, getting in lots of trouble, and basically having to commit to the track. I had a track pretty far from home. It was a good few hours, and the hike just wasn't worth it to me. It just, being an apprentice, early days, trying to make it affordable. But yeah, after I lost the license and all that, I had no choice. So took it out there, straight onto the track, absolutely loved it, and never turned back. Pretty much tried to get to every track that I could. Since that moment, every cent, every dollar went into it. And eventually they opened the track nice and close to home, and that's where I started competing. They opened up some competitions. So, and that's just pushing your skills, everything else. It was all the same sort of thing. It's just the next level. And same deal, tried to make it to everyone I possibly could, and eventually starting off our brand Keep a Reet, which is all about that story of keeping it off the street, taking it to the track, giving people a place nice and close to home and affordable where they can go and thrash with their mates, like no pressure, no ego, just all that for having a good time and having some fun. So a bit more about Keep a Reet is we're basically everything revolving around drift and what it's about, which is, like I said, having a good time, enjoying time with your friends. So incorporating that, we started our drift days, we do a bit of competitions, we have merchandise, we do our YouTube, which is just basically the stories around the team, building these cars, following me around competing, what goes on in the workshop and our drift days. And sometimes do some interviews on some other people and what they're doing with their drifting as well and where their passion started. So yeah, that's pretty much a bit of everything. And we also do some car giveaways back home where you can enter at home or here in New Zealand, which is winning some pretty cool cars that we build, some GTRs, RX-7s, all that sort of stuff. And basically all that goes back into us putting on as many events as we can and sort of expanding that as far as we can. So the reason I've come over to compete in D1NZ, I've seen all the boys, I've seen the Jenkins and all that competing, having a good time, so I was like, I'm missing out on all the fun. It's time to send my car over. After doing well in Australia last year, I sort of feel like I was pretty content with that. I was like, yeah, let's go out and explore and see what we can do, send the car over. Pretty much excited to compete with everyone here, see what they're all about. Just bang doors, I'm just all here to get that perfect run, do well. Not too much pressure on actually taking it all the way. I'm all about just getting that perfect run and having fun, and yeah, maybe a couple of beers after, cheeky beers, see what happens. So the car I run is a Skyline station wagon, something a bit unique on the field out there, and some of the components we've got is obviously the big 4-litre Barra under the bonnet, running 560 real kilowatts and 1100 Newton meters at 3,400 RPM, which is pretty insane, but straight away at the start. And that's all powered by the Haltech ECU, and she's sitting pretty on the Kansai wheels, the Kansai tandems, and wrapped in the Grippy Boy Velinos. We've got an MPC twin plate clutch behind it. We've got a Hypergear turbo, PWR intercooler, and 6 boosts making all the right noises, revving it to 7,000 RPM. We've got the Shockworks suspension, a Costal front arms, and we've actually got a solid rear end in there, which a few people I think surprised. Everyone's got Winters. I think I'm probably one of the only few with still a solid, 1 gear set for the whole season, and it gives us no issues, which is great. Alright, so that's it. So we're keen to push those Reet vibes this year at D1NZ. So you'll see us out there smacking some doors.